Alright, hey guys, my name is Lisa Mari and I'm back with another video. So today I want to film a story time video for you guys. I'm a little sick right now, so that's why I sound bad. I might be coughing and sneezing throughout this video. I might edit that out, but I'll try to edit out as much as I can. But yes, I'm a little sick, so hopefully y'all can hear me. But I did want to get on here and film like a story time video for you guys again. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. If you guys like videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into this video. Alright, y'all. Alright, y'all, let's get into this video. So basically, this is a story time of me getting harassed and stalked by my coworker and his crazy psycho girlfriend. So basically, that's what happened. It was so horrible. I felt like it was like really crazy. Like, it was so weird because no one really was saying it to my face, but like not to diss them because they were like crying about like everything and like they were twisting everything to make it like I was like trying to argue with them or whatever. And people like harassing me, attacking me, all that type of stuff. No, I meant like no one really came out right and said it, but I really felt like I was getting attacked with this couple and the situation that happened at one of my jobs when I first moved here in Las Vegas or whatever. So yeah, that's basically what we're gonna be talking about today. I'm gonna start up telling y'all what type of job it was, where the job was, etc. Like what happened, like what exactly happened. So basically, I just moved here from like this other. I was like in the South for a season, and I went through something really traumatizing there. Like I was getting raped and stalked by people. I got attacked by a child predator. I almost got jumped by 5 girls. And then this guy, the child predator guy, he tried to push me in my face. So I got attacked really deeply before I moved here, right? I'm like, battling depression at this point, but I'm, in denial about it because I like having fun. I like doing stuff, and I didn't want to like get it down. That I got attacked by somebody. So I'm like, thinking like brushing it off, like I want to go, get back into work. I want to get back into school. And basically the reason why I chose Vegas to go to school or whatever. And the reason why I couldn't go to school and to finish my last year, my senior year or whatever, the reason why I couldn't go to school in the South is because I was getting attacked and like basically, like I was saying, all that bad stuff was happening to me and people just didn't feel like it was safe. They felt like I should move somewhere where I know people. So that's why I had to move and go to school in the city or back on the West Coast. So yeah, basically that's what happened. So I'm like, okay, I want a summer job though. I'm trying to get a summer job before I go to school. So I get into university, since me. And I'm like, okay, I need to get me a summer job, before I kind of like just have some money coming in, to have money to get some new clothes, stuff for school, kind of get back on my feet here. Sorry y'all, I'm sick, my voice going out. I'm going to get back on my feet here, and then just have stuff to get ready for school. So I'm like, I need to get some money, so I try to go get a job. So I basically apply to work at a gym. I basically the job, so I get hired at a gym. I was basically working at this gym over the summer as a summer job. And that's also important. Basically, it was a summer job, so that's important. So basically, I was a cashier and I was a front desk receptionist. So my first day, I got scheduled to work with this boy or this guy, and I'm gonna call him Coworker W. So I got scheduled to work with him, and I ended up working with him my first day when they put me on the schedule as a front desk receptionist. So he was supposed to be the supervisor, and I was supposed to be the normal worker. And that's how they do things there. Like you have to have one supervisor and one normal worker or whatever. So basically, he was the supervisor, I was the normal worker. And basically, yeah, so it was my very first day. It was just my very first day. We opened the store. It's the opening shift. We opened the store, and we are welcoming, guests in because the front desk receptionists are part of the welcoming team. So we're welcoming people in. We're, as they swipe in their membership tags and stuff like that. We're welcoming them in, etc. So I'm like, okay. So basically, when we have some downtime, and at first it was just us there, and then people started coming in randomly or whatever. But people were still trying to come, coming in at the time. So when we got downtime, he starts talking to me, trying to get to know me and welcoming me into town. But this is the only questions he asked me. This is important because basically I got attacked and I was getting stalked and harassed. Kind of, again, a lot of it was like really weird. Like people were it felt like it was a threatening vibe. And it felt like people were being weird to me here, and I could never really get comfortable at school or at work or just in the city in general, because I felt like a lot of people were preying me behind my back and maybe attacking me and treating me inappropriately because of this situation, which is why I am telling the story. And just to get off my chest, but like, this is basically what happened. I'm gonna tell you guys all the questions the person asked me, etc. This is also important. I guess I'm gonna say it. So long story short, someone lied and said I was flirting with my coworker W. We call him coworker W, coworker Z. I don't know, because there's another coworker gonna be involved, so we're gonna call him coworker W for now, because I think I already said that. So someone lied and said I was flirting with my coworker to his girlfriend, or put it in his mind to think we were flirting his first day at work. And I'm getting ready to tell you guys exactly what happened. But someone put it in his mind to think we were flirting, or lied to his girlfriend something like that we were flirting at work. And basically him and his girlfriend started stalking me and harassing me, and then tried to like follow me, like turn people against me in the town, like in the city, at school, at work. They were like harassing me really deeply. It was like really like weird. And turning people against me. It was just like a negative vibe. It was so hard and weird because I could not press charges on this couple. Like I ended up telling the police because again, this came from a job, and I'm getting ready to tell you guys exactly what happened. I just want to give you a quick overview. So again, this came from a job. So I was like going to tell the police, and I did tell the police, but I was like, I couldn't really press charges because it was behind my back. Because a lot of it was like negative vibes, rumors being spread. And people just treated me inappropriately, but not really coming out completely and saying it was like, you know, for this couple. But like, I think I ended up getting last time, like someone snatched something from me. I got hit with a cart. Someone hit me with something, with some equipment, like a cart. I got scarred my freaking foot. What else? I was getting harassed on my job interviews. Like, it was hard for me to get a job. I was getting harassed on my job interviews. Trying to connect to my social media inappropriately. Like, it feels like I would like go on the interview, and like I feel like they were trying to tell people, like, you know, trying to connect to my social media, talk to my social media inappropriately. Just something weird like that. And then like people just want to connect to me socially from work inappropriately. Like, and I'll get to why this is like has to do with this couple and the situation at this job. But I'm getting ready to tell you moving forward what happened. So basically, I'm working at the coworker. So when we get downtime, he asked me, he's like, hey, how are you? Like, what's your name? You know, all these get to know you questions. Like, what's my name? What was my last job before I moved here? And am I in college? So these are the 3 questions he asked me. I swear to God, he only asked me these 3 questions. Besides one other question, but I'll get to that because it goes to the story. So he asked me these questions, like, what's my name? I tell him my name, stuff, etc. Then he was asking me, like, what was my last job before I moved here? I used to model waitress. I model waitress. I worked at the sports bar before I moved here. That was my last job. They also have locations here, so he knew what the job was. So, wait, actually, I think he asked me, was I in college first? So he asked me, was I in college first? And I said, yeah, you know, I got accepted to university. I'm going to university in the fall, basically. He was like, oh, that's cool. Like, me and my girlfriend, we go to, you know, college here, too. They're both basically college students. She went to online school, and he went to the community college, you know, here. So this is a disclaimer. I do not attack kids or anything like that. Like, I do not attack children or argue with children or try to talk to children like they are adults. This is not true. This is also another disclaimer. Even if the age of consent is 16, because the age of consent is 16 in Las Vegas, so some of these people in this story might be children or minors. Even if the age of consent is 16, I do not condone violence against children or attack children or, like, you know, think that's appropriate to talk to a child like they are adults. Even if the age of consent is 16, even if they are dating adults, I do feel like everyone should be mindful that these people are still children. So that's not true. If you ever heard this about me, and that's why I'm doing this video, to clear it up. It's not true if you ever heard that about me, that I would think it's okay to talk to a child in a way that's inappropriate, or be threatening a child, or trying to fight a child, or, you know, even just talking to them about their parents in general, which is, it's not true. I'm not the type of person. I was not trying to, you know, ever do something like this. That's just a disclaimer. Again, I said her and her boyfriend was her, you know, harassing and stalking me. So yeah, but this is a disclaimer, so the kids in this, or so the people in this video are young and might be minors. So basically, the girl, she was in community, she was online school. So she was 17, 18, these are the ages. She was 17, 18, but going to online school because she was too young to go to school on campus. Then he was 19. So for us, me and him, we actually were a couple months apart at the time. So really, like, we are the same age some of the years. So we would have been 19 together for some of the year, then I would turn a different age, and then he would turn a different, they would turn the same age as me. They would be the same age again some of the year, and then I would turn a different age. And something weird like that. So it was weird. Like, we were a couple months apart, so I was like around 19, 20, but we were like a couple months apart. So when he turned 20, I would be 20 with him for a while, and then I'll be 21 after him, and then I'll be a little bit older than him for a couple months. So not a full year, but just like a couple months. So basically, it was weird. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, I finally, meet people around the same age as me, and I told y'all all the stuff I was going through before I got, to the West Coast, or back to the West Coast. I'm like, okay, this is my fresh start. So I'm smiling because I'm just gonna make this clear. I'm smiling because I'm part of the welcoming team. It's a part of the job description as a receptionist, to be a greeter and to smile and welcome guests in as they scan their membership tab. That is one of the job requirements. To work a job title is one of the job requirements. So we're both smiling because we have to, or we're gonna get in trouble for not smiling. Like, any of the guests can report us or to the department head of our division. We're not smiling and welcoming them in, and we'll get in trouble for it. So we're all smiling, and then it's my first day. I told you I was going through all that stuff before I got there. So it's my fresh start. So I'm smiling, trying to be polite to everyone so I don't have any problems. So everyone can be nice. It can be a good experience. It's like, I'm going to have fun here, whatever. It's going to be more of a good experience type thing. Then also, I think I was smiling because I was trying to be polite. So he was the supervisor. I wanted a good review. I wanted people to say I work well with others. When they go back and ask, like, hey, how did the new girl do for her first day? I wanted him to give me a good review. So I did not try to be mean or rude to him. I was being polite. When he was telling me about what his girlfriend and him do here for fun, I was listening, being polite as pertaining to it. I'm just like, oh yeah, cool, that's awesome. So, and I'm still smiling the whole time. Like, as he's telling me about his girlfriend, I'm still smiling. My face never fell. My face never dropped. Like, I never made like a face was like, oh, like, you have a girlfriend? Like, I never did that. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So you and your girlfriend are both in college. Yeah, okay, so you guys are studying this. Like, and I said awesome because I was meeting college students like me, even though granted they were too young. I was a senior and he was probably like a sophomore because he was at the community college, so he probably was like a sophomore, he was like 19. So he probably was a sophomore, but I was just like an upperclassman, and I had to remember that like upperclassmen cannot talk to underclassmen or freshmen or any, like, underclassmen in general, because sometimes they try to like be more drama filled and they try to do things to make a splash, to make a name for themselves inappropriately, with seniors are really just trying to graduate. So most colleges say, like, not to talk to any underclassmen when you are getting ready to graduate or are a senior. So basically, that's one of the mistakes I made, and that also led to me not graduating from college and me kind of just dropping out and not really caring about it. This is one of the factors that maybe led to me not graduating from college and dropping out, from college, etc. But let me get back to the story. So I'm like, awesome, I'm meeting like college students, right? So I'm like, oh, you guys are cool. So and he was telling me like, yeah, her degree was nursing and his was fire science. Then I'm like, okay, that's awesome, that is cool. So then he asks me, I think, what was my last job before I got there? And I told him I used to model waitress. I used to model waitress or whatever. And I worked at the sports bar that they have locations out here. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, him and his girlfriend do stuff like that too. Like, she's a model and he's a photographer. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, that's awesome. So he basically was telling me about, that. And he was like, you know what? I'll give you a photo shoot for a discounted rate. Just to do something nice for you, I'll, give you a photo shoot for a discounted rate. And basically the rate was like something unbelievable. So it was $25, right? He said, I'll give you a photo shoot for $25. I'm like, you're lying. Like, you're not going to give me a photo shoot for $25. Like, that's not true. Like, I did not know that this man was a real photographer or not, but he has a girlfriend. So does he have like a reason to lie for, So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take you up on that offer. That was nice, of course. And he's like, yeah. So I think he ends up telling me a little bit more about his girlfriend, why he likes her, how close they are. I think he says he likes hanging out with her family. And again, the age of consent is 16. And then he was talking about how he likes hanging out with her family. And I was really close with her and her family, etc. So I was like, okay, that's awesome, like, great. And oh yeah, he was telling me how that they wanted to be couple goals, like they wanted to be EMT, model, and firefighter, photographer couple or whatever. And I was like, so I even gave them a compliment. Let's just say this, because everyone was mad at me and was harassing me because they thought I was flirting with him. And basically that's why I was like almost a hated person at one point, or kind of somewhat a hated person. So everyone was mad at me for this. So I said this almost literally, I think even almost verbatim. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute. Like, you guys are couple goals. Like, that's so cute. You wanted to be a firefighter photographer, and she was going to be, a EMT, model. Like, I was saying that was so awesome. That's couple goals. I love that. I love that you guys are so close, that you guys are planning a future together. That's so amazing. I think I even said that verbatim, right? Which is why, again, that's why I got you guys have to hear the story, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So we're talking. He's like, yeah, we're working on it. I think he said he was planning on marrying her or something like that too. That he was maybe planning on marrying her, and he wants to marry her or something like that. So I'm like, okay, great, awesome. That was so beautiful. You see young people in love and having a solid foundation in life, and they want to build a life together, and they have plans for their life. It's sometimes beautiful because some people get attacked, and like I was saying earlier, when I got attacked, I told you guys earlier how I got attacked by this child predator before I moved back to the West Coast. I'm from the West Coast, but I took a season. I left home at 17. I went off and I tried to go to school in the South, thinking I was in a place I was very vulnerable, was very vulnerable. So I ended up going, so I thought I was going to meet this Southern gentleman, and I ended up getting attacked by this. I would say I only met ghetto black hillbilly criminals. Well, not criminals. I didn't really meet that many Southern gentlemen, but I ran into this guy. He's like a criminal. He's a bad person, but he's a ghetto black hillbilly criminal. And I have to say that way. Y'all probably gonna be mad at me for saying this way. I have to say it that way. He's crazy. So basically, he started stalking me, harassing me. He's obsessed with me. He says since he met me at 17, he feels like he can stalk me, but I clearly said to him, just because you met me at 17, a couple of days before my 18th birthday, does not mean you're going to be my forever. You're not going to be my first love. You're also not going to be my forever. You're not going to be the person I get married to. That does not mean that. Like, everyone has to earn a place in my heart. They also have to earn a place in my life. I'm not like that. I don't like being connected to without permission. I don't like being stalked, and I don't like being harassed. It's a pet peeve. I don't like that type of thing. So I'm like, no, he has to earn a place in my heart and in my life. He says he understands. I'm going to tell you guys this story in another video, but he said he understood, and then basically just tried to connect and attach himself to me without permission, was stalking me, especially when I told him I didn't want to be in a relationship with him, because he actually never took me out on the dates, so we didn't have a solid foundation in us hanging out. But we hung out a few times, a couple months, not every day, but randomly for a couple months. Again, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit because I basically don't want to tell you guys the whole thing. I'm going to tell you guys the whole story in the video. But we hung out for a couple months randomly. We did not date. He never asked me to be his girlfriend, and he never, asked me out on a date or tried to get to know me. Like, he only really cared about the fact that I was 17 when it came down to rubbing his penis and just looking it off to me, And it just was crazy to me. Like, he didn't even care. Like, it just was horrible, and it was disgusting. It was traumatized to go through that, and he could scam the age of consent. So this is important to the story, because this is why I was not attacking this girl, because later on she basically starts threatening me for this conversation. So she starts threatening me and stalking me and harassing me and trying to turn people against me. And it was like this big rumor, I guess, that people were saying that I had beef with her, and that I was arguing with her or something like that. And it was like crazy, because I felt like everyone was playing me for everybody, even thinking like basically like the whole world was out to get me, or trying to be against me, even for this situation. Like, it was weird, like abnormal stuff was happening, and I was getting attacked the way that's abnormal, and basically it was just like really crazy, But basically that's part of the story, because that's why I would never have attacked her, but also why the conversation in that story of that happening is uncomfortable to me, because I got attacked when I was 17 by someone. And even if she wasn't attacked, because later on she ends up bullying me in this story, and she ends up bullying me because the age of consent is 16 here. So she actually bullies me because I guess my age difference with the guy that attacked me is 9 years. Her age difference with the guy that she was dating, he was a high school sweetheart. So the age difference was 1.5 years to 2 years. It was not 9 years. So mine was worse than her. However you guys can feel about it, people can feel how they want to feel about it, but mine was worse than her, because he was way older than me, and he also threatens me. Like, he stalks me, he threatens to kill me, he threatens to come in a ditch, he threatens to rape me, says he'll make me have a rape baby, like all this crazy stuff. He's tried to hit me before, he's tried to get me jumped before, he literally has scared me, like, and all that. He was showing me that he didn't care that I was 17 except to rub his penis to me. That's it. Like, when he was trying to get me jumped and also trying to punch me in my face. So I just felt like it was just a little bit too crazy to me for me to get attacked like that. Like, it was crazy. There's something that's very traumatizing, so that's why this story is very uncomfortable to me. But I do want to get off my chest and get it out, so I'm not secretly getting attacked or preyed on or even threatened for something that I did not actually do. But long story short, this is what happened. She starts threatening me for this conversation. So I'm going to get to the rest of the story of the day that we met, the conversation that we were having that made her start stalking me and threatening me and turning people against me around town. So basically, he tells me like, yeah, so I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, you guys are awesome, that's cool. So basically, right, so he's like, he'll give me a photo shoot for this kind of rate. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that offer. So he's like, okay, now I'm waiting for side work because I'm being polite still. So I know basically also in the work questionnaires, it is also on the paperwork or on that questionnaire to ask for side work if you have downtime and not to be talking. I am getting ready to ask for side work, or I was getting ready to ask for side work. He just was a supervisor, so I kind of want to be respectful to him to get a good review from like the heads when they check up on the situation or what, like, you know, my first day or whatever, and then also just in general to get, if I kept this on my resume, but then also to give me a good review. So I'm listening, I'm being respectful, and I'm being polite. So when I was smiling, I was being polite because I was getting ready to ask for side work. That's also important because, again, I was getting attacked for this conversation. So he says, eventually in the end, he's like, okay, well, let's start doing the side work. So he's like, okay, give me those files over there and I'll help you. I'll teach you how to file them. I'm like, okay, great. So again, he was a supervisor. It's my first day. Later on, I heard that he was a new supervisor and he was just now getting managerial training. So since he was a new supervisor and just now getting managerial training, I didn't know, like, you know, I'm listening to him. I'm, you know, following behind him. Like, he's supposed to be teaching me stuff because he's the manager. And it could have been something new, so that's why I didn't know who spread the rumor that we were flirting at work. Because literally, as you guys heard, we were talking about the girl most of the time. He would ask me a few questions about myself, and then he told me, you know, about him and then his partner and what they do here. So I didn't know who spread the rumor, if it was him feeling guilty because he could have also invited to perform a service for me and have a business transaction with me outside of work. So that could have made him feel guilty, or maybe someone got to his head and said, you know, said that we were flirting and he felt guilty, or maybe someone from a different department seeing us talking and from the outside looking in, like they could have been close enough to see us talking, but they weren't close enough to hear the conversation and maybe got into that person's head and said that we were flirting. That the conversation was about their girlfriend, and they're like, no excuses, you have a girlfriend, you should not be smiling and talking to that girl like that. But someone that's not a part of the welcoming staff, so they wouldn't know it's part of their job description or even care that much. And then also someone that didn't see my resume, because on my resume I've done a lot of serious part of my life. When I was a kid, I used to dance, I used to cheer, I used to do a lot of stuff like that. Like, I even have my trophies. Like, I said I have my trophy. My trophy is broken because it's in my garage, but this is my trophy. This is the cheerleader or my trophy. This is what my trophy says. Elisa R, because I don't want y'all to know my full last name. So Elisa R is my last name, special R. First place, show cheer, junior midget, 2000 and something. So 2000 and something is at least in the 2010s. So this is like in the 2010s. Junior midget division or something like that. AFL. This says AFL. It says AFL. I'll put a picture of it on my thing. It's broken a little bit. This is my cheer trophy. I am a peppy person. I like being in a good mood. Like, I would have always been like that. Like, awesome. Like, I'm always going to be like that. Like, I am a peppy person. I'm just a person that likes to be in a good mood. Like, I'm very smiling. I like to talk. I'm very dramatic. I like having fun. I've done a lot of stuff. Like, I didn't even put all the performing arts stuff I did. I used to act in middle school. I'm very dramatic. I like having fun. I like being in a good mood. I like smiling. That's not the only cheer I've done too. Like I've done cheer, I've done dance, I've done a lot of stuff that would make me have more of an upbeat personality and be more smiley. And that's all on my resume. So that's what I was saying. Like I felt like I was attacked for no reason, and it went to like level 100 for no reason, because I just like being in a good mood. I never even liked him. And during the time, like for example, I gave him a compliment, like their couple a compliment, like, you know, that's something that proves I didn't like him. But it was another thing that also proved that I didn't like him, and I'm going to get to that part too. So basically, the whole day goes by, we leave and go home or whatever, right? Again, I think someone got to him, or for some reason he started feeling guilty, like he thought he was flirting with me or whatever. So I don't know this yet, right? But I'm thinking that too, kind of like, not like he was flirting with me, but I'm like thinking like, what if someone tried to flip this and frame me and say that we was flirting at work, and we was like clearly talking about this girl? And I'm like, you know what? The only thing that they can flip is the fact that he asked, you know, to do a business transaction with me outside of work, because that can be twisted and say, well, he asked to meet up with her outside of work. That's inappropriate. He didn't ask to meet up with me outside of work. He asked to do a business transaction with me outside of work. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to say if that happens? Like if I'm in this predicament that I'm in now and I'm attacked and everyone's praying on me and stuff like that for this couple, because again, I'm not from here. So I didn't like him. Like I don't like men in relationships. That's another disclaimer. I do not like men in relationships because I got attacked by that child predator. I hate men in relationships because I like men that are single, that show initiative, that show that they're intentional, and that show that, you know, effort, that ask to, you know, go on dates with me, ask me to be their girlfriend, ask to marry me. Like a guy, he tried to prey on me in a way that was so horrible. Like after 10 my age, after I told him I didn't like that type of thing, he definitely tried to like lie and say that I was his first love, or that he was my first love or something, which is an illusion. What is it when you allude to my age? Yeah, he alluded to my age, just alluding to my age, that I was 17, so he thinks I'm dumb enough to think that he's my first love, even though he never took me out on a date. I'm not dumb enough to think that this man's my first love. All my boyfriends from my childhood took me out on dates, asked me to be their girlfriend, bought me things for Valentine's Day. It's not going to work. I know what the fuck a real man is supposed to do for a woman that they want to date. I'm not that stupid. And that's so sick and disgusting that he would try to prey on some kids or children, teenagers like that. This is why this story offends me really deeply. But it is what it is. I have to get it out. I have to say it. The age of consent is different in different places. So, I mean, some of it probably offended other people, like I was getting preyed on, but like no one really cared that they were dating. Most people just thought I was flirting with him. Then they thought that I got aggressive during our conversation, or that I was arguing with them or being aggressive during the conversation inappropriately. And that's why I was getting preyed on, is what I heard. Also, I guess like if I tried to connect to them socially or, you know, inappropriately like that, which isn't true. So y'all just heard me. I told y'all everything that was said. I told you guys every single question he asked about me. Then I told you everything he told me about his girlfriend and what they be doing here, etc. I think he said he was on the basketball team. The only other thing he said, he was on the basketball team at the community college. That's the only other thing I think I left out. That's the whole conversation. There's nothing else said. Then we got back to work, right? So basically, I never tried to talk to him socially. Let's just clear this up. I never tried to talk to him socially, ever. He did offer to meet me outside of work for a business transaction. It was not a social event. It was business. Here is how I tried to do things for him. So, okay, this is where the social thing comes from. So that's what I'm smiling for. And also it's my fresh start, so I just want to be like, you know, something more upbeat and optimistic and stuff. I'm actually still an optimist. That's why my personality really contrasts me being depressed, but I like having fun and being in a good mood, and I'm really upbeat. Like I said, I'm dramatic too. So it contrasts me being, you know, depressed, and that's why people can really tell when I'm not feeling well, because I don't act like myself. I don't want to sing no more, or I sing barely. I dance barely. You know, I'm acting barely. You know, they just notice it's a strong, you know, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. It's a strong decrease in me, and my mood is just like dramatically, you know, a big shift. So you can kind of tell. So that's why people were saying they think, because I didn't feel well, but I kind of just wanted to work still, and I had to realize I take that seriously, because some people think I was flirting at work if I smiled too much, or I was trying to force a smile and just put, you know, force myself to be in a good mood. People would think I was flirting with people, and it could be a bigger deal when I started getting harassed, denied jobs, attacked, my life is threatened, attacked, you know, by government officials, or preyed on by the, you know, the whole world. Anyone who could be offended by hearing the situation, this can happen to me. So I had to come to terms with what happened to me getting attacked by those people, how I got raped, attacked by that child predator, and all that crazy stuff that was happening to me. I had to come to terms with it and move on from it so I can have a good life still. So that's what I've been working on moving forward, etc. But basically, I go on his page, cover my butt so I don't get attacked for this. I go on his page just to see if he's a real photographer so I can have something to say. So I click his profile on suggested friends. I didn't ask him his name. It was on suggested friends, literally. I click it. We're all in college. I thought it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. I'm not like, I'm not going to connect to him, to his life. He's, bother him on social media. I would never do something like that. So I thought it was going to be okay. So I clicked it just to see if he was a real photographer. So I clicked it to see if he had a website so I could reference, like, well, he has a website, he has a price list, he's a real photographer. So basically when I clicked his profile, he does not have a website, he did not have a price list, he might not be a professional photographer. He maybe could be more aspiring. And me being new here, trying to be in a good mood, me being an optimist, and not wanting to have problems with the townspeople or being attacked by them, I did try to say, like, okay, well, I'm not going to be mad at him for being an aspiring photographer because he did have a camera and he also has some landscape pictures. So he maybe was more so an aspiring photographer. So for that reason, I was going to be nice to him or whatever about the situation. So for me, like, I'm an aspiring model anyway. I've booked a few jobs, I've worked with a few people, I've gotten paid, but most of the time I was like extra, etc. I don't have a large platform, so it's not like, I'm going to be mean to him for being aspiring, because I'm also aspiring too, and I still would think it was also innocent because, again, most of the time we were talking about his girlfriend, so, I would think it was more so innocent because, some guys lie about having girlfriends to date women, and he never lied about it. He was always smiling and talking about her lovingly, that I didn't think he was trying to date me. So, yeah, maybe it was an accident. He just, like, wanted to get his name out there and get some practice, in a craft that he wants to master. So I didn't get mad at him for that. I was just like, okay, whatever. So I guess I'll still accept the offer for a discounted photo shoot, even though he's not a real photographer, if he doesn't mind. But this is something that could get him in trouble. You can't meet up with someone outside of work without your partner's permission, but also without them being there. So I'm like, okay, some women do it without them being there, just in case she's that type of woman, to be respectful, because maybe he asks because she maybe is more so that type of woman. Like, as long as she's there, she doesn't care because he's getting money, or like, it's a service, it's a business transaction, he's getting paid. So I didn't know if she was that type of person, her being a model too, or him saying that she was a model too. I didn't know if she was like that type of person. So next time I see him at work in passing, because we weren't scheduled to work with each other, but I see him in passing when I had free time, I was like, hey, I was trying to talk to him and I was trying to say, hey, the business transaction that you said you would do for me for a discounted rate, you can bring your girlfriend and, like, your friends or whoever, so you're not alone with me, so you don't get in trouble. Because I know some women get, offended by that and upset about their boyfriends being alone with people they don't know. This is definitely a professional thing. I don't think it's flirtatious. But yeah, that's what happened. I'll tell you guys all the other stuff in another video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.